Number one, let's start with the screen size. On the A25, it has a 6.5-inch Super AMOLED display, and on the A26, it has a 6.6-inch Super AMOLED display. A26 screen is slightly larger by 0.1 inch. And just for reference, they both have the same refresh rate at 120 Hertz. So the only difference is you get a little bit of extra screen on the A26. Number two, the micro SD card. So they both are going to accept a micro SD card. The difference is the A25 will accept up to a 1 terabyte micro SD, whereas the A26 will now support up to a 2 terabyte micro SD, which is a ton of storage. But for those of you that want a lot, you can add a whole lot more now, and I'll link on screen right here to a really good 1 terabyte micro SD card. All right, number three is going to be in the IP rating. So the A25 has no IP rating. It's not rated for water resistance, dust resistance, no submerging. However, the A26 is IP67 rated, which means that it's water resistant and dust resistant, and you can put it in water. You can submerge it for up to 30 minutes, 1 meter. So you have a little extra protection now against water in the new variant. Number four is going to be in the software, and this is a big one. So Samsung just rolled out their new One UI software, One UI 7. So the A25 still has One UI 6, and at some point it will upgrade to 7, but we don't know when. However, the A26 does come stock with One UI 7, and I want to just show you some of the big differences in the interface, because in certain areas it's a pretty big difference. So let's start with the notification panel. So when you swipe down from the top of the screen on the A25, this is the traditional look for the notification panel. However, on the A26, when you swipe on the left of the camera, it's going to bring up just your notifications here. And when you swipe to the left, it'll bring up your control panel. So they sort of separated control panel from notifications. Now, if I just swipe down from the right side of the phone, it also brings up that same notification panel. So you can toggle back and forth by swiping left and right. So ultimately, that's one big difference. So next, when you look at the app icons, so when I swipe up, you're going to see the icons are refreshed on the A26. So you have a lot of new built-in icons and just a nice, fresh, different look. Also, the search bar, you'll notice, is now at the bottom versus it's at the top here. I think Samsung started to understand that, you know, they're making taller phones. It makes more sense to have the search bar at the bottom that you can easily tap to search for apps and different things on the phone. So there's that. Next, if we open up the camera, you're going to see that the camera layout is also different. So they've moved the row of different camera settings to the bottom here. You can still swipe through to move through those different camera settings. You also have the more button is much smaller right here, and that's where you're getting a lot of the features that were at the top. So on One UI 7, they've moved a lot of the interface to the bottom to make it easier to access the options without having to reach to the top of the phone, which I definitely love. They're both still going to have the App Edge panel that you can use to set your app shortcuts. And you'll find a few other nuanced differences as well. But, you know, those were some of the most defined differences in terms of One UI 6 and One UI 7. Now, the fifth difference is going to be in the hardware. You have that traditional aux port to plug in your traditional headphones. Still have a Type-C port at the bottom here. However, on the A26, they removed the aux port. So you just have that Type-C port, and you'll need to purchase that adapter to use your older headphones. I'll link on screen right here to an adapter you can use to plug right in here to plug in your old school headphones. It's not a huge deal that it doesn't have that aux port, but I know for some people that's a deal breaker for them, so I thought that was an important thing to mention. Now, one bummer of these phones is neither of them do support the Good Lock app, which is, for those of you that know, it's a fun app, gives you a lot of customization. So if that's something you're looking for, just know you're not going to get it on either phones. Now, I want to close out the video just sharing a list of the features that they have in common. So they're both going to have 6 gigs of RAM for the base model, and an 8 gig model is offered. But Samsung.com really only offers the 6 gig model. So just as an FYI. Camera-wise, it's going to be the same. Rear camera is going to be 50 megapixel, 8 megapixel, and 2. And they're both going to have a 13 megapixel front camera. They're both going to have 25 watt fast charging. In terms of the video recording output, they're both going to record up to 4K 30 frames per second. They're both going to have a 5,000 milliamp battery. And as I mentioned at the beginning, they both have a Super AMOLED display. So these are two really great phones. They really come down to, you know, if you really want that newer Samsung software, that One UI 7, that's a really big difference. And obviously with the small caveat that you won't be able to use your traditional headphones. But again, I don't think that's a deal breaker for a lot of people. And then also the fact that it's got that IP67 rating, and you can double that micro SD card up to 2 terabytes. So leave me your thoughts in the comment section down below and let me know which one you are leaning towards. These are both really great phones, and I'll make sure to link them right below the video. If you want to get right to Samsung's website and kind of see the pricing, you can do that as well. One note, if you do upgrade to the A26, Samsung does have a trade-in program, and you can trade in your older Samsung phones for a credit to help lower the price on this model as well. Samsung really focuses on those trade-in credits for their newer devices, so you're not going to get as much trying to trade up for this phone, but if you're wanting to jump to the latest model, this is where you're going to get the best value in terms of trading in your old phone. Leave me your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you got value out of this video, make sure you bump that like button down below. If you're not already a subscriber, hit that subscribe button and stay tuned for more videos. I'll link to 2 helpful videos here and here, so definitely check out those, and we'll catch you in the next one. Thanks for watching, take care, and as always, have a good one.